Hey guys, a little note before we get started here. This episode with Ever Mainard was recorded in late 2020. It is now mid-2025. Ever very recently started testosterone treatments and now goes by they, them, or he, him. Just a little something I wanted you to know before we get into this. We're still very close, and I want to be respectful of their pronouns, and I'd like for you to as well. Thank you so much. Here you go.
Welcome to Long Story Long. I'm your host, Lisa Curry. Today's guest is the hilarious comedian Ever Mainard. You can see Ever on Conan O'Brien's series Meet the Staff and on The Fields on Netflix. Let's do this. Hey Ever, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Nice. I'm really good. Thank you. I'm excited to have you on and talk to you about stuff.
Yeah.
Because we have like a little bit of crossover in our lives.
I know.
It's so weird to me that I feel like, I mean, we really only became friends last year.
I would say so, yeah.
Right?
I had known about you.
I'm not misremembering this.
No. I think we'd probably known about each other for a long time, or at least a little while, but it wasn't until Berlin that I feel like we really became friends. Which is a wild way to, like, connect with people, you know? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
we're friends from Berlin, and everyone's like, what? Yeah, we're really cool.
It's crazy how, you know, like, I feel like anytime you're overseas and you run into another American, immediately you have this, like, intense bond. And it's not even like, we're not in a war zone. We're in Berlin doing comedy, but then we're like, we're friends forever now. Yeah.
Once a war zone. Honestly,
we were a little late to the party there.
Yeah. Honestly, like, going to Berlin, I had heard so much about it, and I was still, like, a little intimidated, but it was so fun. I had a great time. How did you find Berlin?
Oh. I loved it, but I don't think I got to take full advantage because Berlin is known for its nightlife. And I was like, I did 51 shows in 8 weeks. I'm like, I'm not fucking going out.
Incredible. Like,
oh, thanks. It was insane.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm highly competitive, but with myself. So once I booked 30 shows, I was like, let's see if you can book 40, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then
pick it up.
Like, got out of control.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Berlin. I think, I wish I could go back right now, but, you know, current state of the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when I'm like, oh yeah, Lisa and I are going to be friends forever.
Oh yeah.
I'm still friends with Eric, the drummer. That's your drummer friend, right?
Maybe. I know. Well, maybe. Oh no. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
So I'm friends with. I'm primarily friends with Dave, who's the lead singer and guitarist of Maps and Atlases, guys. Incredible band. And then I also
still friends with him. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe don't include this on the podcast. Please don't. Actually, side note. I'm
for sure
with a drummer that I'm like, who is this? I thought we met in Berlin, but now I don't know. I thought we knew each other because of you, but I don't think I know this man. Maybe I do. I don't know.
That's really funny. You have no idea how often I like think I know somebody better than I do, or I'm like, yeah, we met from so and so, and they're like, I've literally never seen you in my life, and I'm like, oh.
It happens. Okay. It happens to me relentlessly. That same thing, because I also feel like the internet makes everyone so accessible. And if somebody's personality on the internet is that we're friends, and I see you and I think, well, we're friends from your videos. Am I mentally ill? I don't know.
I do this constantly, and as a matter of fact, I'm a creep, so I will be in people's DMs. If somebody whose comedy I love is following me on Twitter, I'll jump into their DMs and I will say this sentence. I'll be like, hey, can we be friends? Like I'm 3 years old.
Same. You know what I am upset about though right now? I'm not going to call her out by name, but we had been becoming friends. We're friends on the LA scene. We're friends, but we're not close friends. I'm just going to say, let me be king. And when she listens, she knows. Because That was an Instagram DM that I thought we were connecting over a mutual comedian. So there's this comedian named, I think his name is Brandon. I don't know.
It's the same name.
Yeah, Brandon. Depending on, like, if you're from the north or the south. Brandon.
Yeah.
Really started watching his videos and connecting, and he has this creepy character who is always like, let me be king. And I DM'd my friend who introduced me to this character. I said, let me be friend. No response. And I'm holding a grudge. I'm going on air. I'm holding a grudge. No response. I thought we were friends, but maybe we're not. Maybe they're like, okay, too many please stop.
Stuff like this is why if somebody messages me and I sincerely forget about it, I forget to reply. If 6 or 8 months go by ever, I will then be like, oh shit, I have to get back to them, and it'll be the most innocuous message, but I'm like, I just don't want you to think, like, if I am mad at you, I want you to know that I don't like you. Like, I need you to know that.
Same.
But I don't want somebody to get in their head for the wrong reason, you know? So I will reach out.
If I don't like somebody, I want them to know. And there are 3 people that I don't like, and they know. And I make a point to let them know that I don't like them, and that is avoiding eye contact at shows, not speaking to them at shows, and not making time for them at shows. I'll let them know. I don't want to talk to you. I think you're a dick. That's how, and then I'll say it. I'll be like, you're a dick. I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
That felt really nice.
Great.
That felt really nice.
Yeah.
But
I love it. Wait, so.
Okay, sorry, go ahead. We're getting a little, we're getting off topic again
about
I just people
we
don't like. A little about us.
Listen, I have such a long list. I have such a long list. But I want to talk about your story. Like, where'd you grow up?
Okay, so I grew up in Little River, Texas, which is a town. At the time, it was about 800, but now there's a little bit more. That's where, like, we moved to in the 6th grade. And it was rural. I'm from a rural part of Texas outside of Waco. So if you're into, like, the KKK and meth, it is a great time. And if you're Branch Davidian, R.I.P. If you're Baylor Bear, sick 'em. It's really weird. Like, you know, people are like, oh, Waco, like Chip and Jo. And I'm like, no, Waco, like the Branch Davidians. That's the part of Texas. Chip and Jo, that's so great that they're rebranding. I would say Waco's biggest rebrand is Chip and Jo. Do you know who Chip and Jo is?
I don't know what Chip and Jo is.
Oh my God.
It sounds like an off Vegas show.
No, they have that thing on, I think it's like HGTV, and now they have a partnership with Target. They're a very adorable heterosexual couple. Joanna Gaines was a Channel 10 news broadcaster, and now they have their own show. And Chip Gaines was a developer and I guess a contractor in Texas, but now they flip all these houses, and they just are so, their TV personalities are adorable. I bet they're monsters, but maybe they're not. Anyways, that has been Waco's biggest rebrand.
The house. They should flip the house, the famous house that was. Well, how do you?
Wait, what do you mean, the Branch Davidian house?
From the Waco incident? Is it gone?
Yeah, the FBI blew it up. That's the tragedy. On live television.
I thought that was still a shell of a house.
No, they blew it up. It caught on fire. Yeah, everybody died.
Listen, I didn't finish the docuseries. Yeah, it was a little bit boring.
I was like, wow, what's happening here? And everyone is like, maybe my parents are like, we're going to turn off the TV for a little bit. But I'm from like that part of Texas. Like, I mean, I've been shooting guns since I was 8. Like, I'm not afraid of, I didn't know that like guns were necessarily bad, I would say, until like I became older and moved away from Texas, and I'm like, oh, I should not have been holding a gun and like shooting it. Like, granted, I was like shooting dirt or shooting a hay bale or shooting the side of a barn. I mean, it is like a country song. It is dirt road Texas, like county road Texas. I mean, it feels like Keith Urban is about to give me HPV with this chat about like how country. Like Tim McGraw's gonna pop up and give me herpes. Like that's, I don't know what that means, but that is how country I am from.
It is just such a different, like, rural United States is so completely different from cities, and I think people that live in LA and New York, one of which I am. I think a lot of people don't get it.
They don't get it, and I will say this. There's a lot of New York pride. I get it. In Texas, you are indoctrinated, ingrained, and born with this sense of, like, Texan pride that is I don't know, like, if you know about this, but Texas, there is a big militia that wants to annex the state. There's a huge thing. Growing up, it's all about Texas pride. And there's like it's abnormal the amount of pride this state has for something that has, like, are you kidding me? Ted Cruz? Yeah. That's what we're supposed to have pride in? Yeah. I don't think so right now. Anyway, so I grew up with, like, this kind of, like, machismo sense of, like, pride of, like, oh, I'm from Texas. But the older I get, the more embarrassed I am that, oh, I'm from Texas.
It feels, I feel like any amount of pride in your city or state, like, maybe not any amount, but when people are, like, fanatical about where they're from, I'm like, get a life, travel, when you're like, Philly forever, it's like, fucking relax, guys.
Yeah, come on.
Yes, I love Philadelphia. I love it.
I've never been. I would love to go. You know.
Let's go. What are you doing after this?
83 shows in 30 days. You know.
Exactly. When you moved out of Texas, did you come straight to LA, or what was your path?
No, my path was Texas, and I started taking, like, improv classes in Austin, which was, like, an hour away, which was, like, a big deal for me. Also, this is, like, early 2004, like, when the internet came out, so it must have been, like, 2006 or 7, I started, like, going to Austin.
Wait, did you just say when the internet came out?
Yeah, I did. That's wrong. You know, when the internet came out.
That's when rural Texas got the internet. So, same thing.
Yeah, when rural Texas got the internet in the year 2000, actually everybody was so afraid of, like, the world exploding, but that was, like, actually, like, when rural Texas got the internet. That was, like, a big deal for, like, we were, like, waiting, like, 1999, we were, like, next year, baby. So I started taking improv, and they were like, oh, you should go to the Second City. I'd never heard of this before. Like, I didn't know, like, that's where, like, all of the alum on, like, Saturday Night Live that I loved came from or started at. Like, I had no idea this, like, theory of, like, Viola Spolin, Del Close, like, what it was. And then as soon as I found out, I moved to Chicago. I turned 21. I had $17 in my bank account. I found an apartment, $600 a month, all utilities included.
What?
And I transferred Starbucks, and then I walked to work.
Did you move to Chicago in 1994 somehow? I don't understand $600 a month.
I moved in, 2007. I moved to Chicago in 2007. And I lived in Uptown. And this is Uptown for the Chicago listeners, pre-Target. This is Uptown when it was Aldi and a vacant parking lot across the street from a Jewel. I lived off Montrose and Broadway. They had the best thrift shop, but now it's been kind of, like, flipped because I guess, like, Uptown is, like, cool. And there's, like, if you're in Chicago, shout out Chicago, go to the Green Mill. Like, classic jazz place. You might have heard of Al Capone.
I love the Green Mill.
Okay, yes. Mm-hmm. Big fan. Like, so I lived a few blocks away from the Green Mill, and it was an older apartment. My apartment manager there was so sweet. I lived on the 6th floor and kind of became friends. Not friends, but you kind of just started to know the people on the floor. And it was just, you know, like, it was just different. It was definitely like, oh, this is $600 a month. But I was like, 21. I was like, oh, I don't, like, what the fuck do I care? Like, it's a tiny studio apartment. It's doing the job. I had a balcony. And then I would walk to work. Like, I did not know about, like, a CTA pass until my coworkers are like, why are you paying for every use on the train with the transfers when you could just spend $20 and get a week pass? And I was like, oh, cool. But I would just, like, walk. But I was so excited. I was like, I sound like an old grandma or a grandpa. Like, I just walked 5 miles to work for, like, 2 weeks.
I love
and
that.
And I, like, learned the neighborhood.
Wait, and it also depends on what time of year was this?
Summer to fall. But I did get made fun of when it dipped to 50. I was not ready for that. Because Texas is, like, cold as it gets, it's like 60. Every now and then it dips to 30, and it's, like, a big deal. Nobody goes to work. But so I bought, like, a really, like, big puffer jacket, and my coworkers are like, what the fuck? I'm like, it is so cold, and they're like, you're going to be destroyed this winter. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, it gets to negative 13. I rode my bike to work once. Okay.
Chicago's the worst.
It was negative.
No, in the winter?
I rode year round. So I worked at a Starbucks. I worked at a 24-hour Starbucks. I used to work overnights from Thursday to Sunday, but then I started working the morning shift. As my career started going up, I was like, oh, I can't work overnights anymore because I have shows. So I need to work mornings. One time I rode to work, and I was like, what's wrong with me? I looked at the thermostat across the street. It was negative 17. No scarf. No. Like, my hands were frozen. I was like, something's wrong with me. My body was like, go to hell.
Hold on a second. You're in, like, below freezing, and your first thought is, my body's shutting down. Instead of, like, I shouldn't be out.
I didn't know, because, like, here's the deal, like, Chicago's such a drinking town, like, it sort of numbs your body. So the night before, like, I'm out at Town Hall Pub. People don't know this. Chicago is like a 4 a.m., 5 a.m. drinking town. And when you move there when you're 21 from a rural town, you think, oh, this is how everybody fucking drinks. Everybody drinks from 6 p.m. until 4:35 in the morning. This is a normal thing. Like, that is insane. I would go home, take a 2-hour power nap, and then ride my ass to work. Is that okay? No. Could I do that now? No, my body would literally explode. My body would pull a Branch Davidian. Like, it would explode. So I moved to Chicago, and then I moved here.
Oh my God. Wait, I love that we both worked at Starbucks, which I feel like is some kind of hazing thing. Like, the number of people that I know that are in tough-ass careers that are like, I worked at Starbucks. I'm like, that makes sense. That was really tough.
People don't understand what these baristas and what we have really gone through. I'm sure that you have cleaned up shit. I've cleaned up shit, jizz, blood, vomit.
Absolutely.
Parts of the human body. People don't think that. They just think, like, oh, they're just, like, overwhelmed coffee makers who make a little bit above minimum wage. Also, okay, here's something really embarrassing. I got really into coffee when I was at Starbucks, and I was one of Chicago's first ever Black Apron baristas. And, like, which is embarrassing. So I would, like, train other people. But, like, I would, like, have to know, like, the coffee, like, blindfolded by smell. Like, that is embarrassing. Now that I think about it, like, I was so brainwashed. And, of course, I was susceptible to that. Like, my community was my cult.
It's a cult.
It's a cult. And the coffee is not that good.
It's not even a good... So you go from Branch Davidians to Starbucks cult.
And I mean, now I've never thought about this, but now that we've said these words out loud, it's really making sense.
It's just one cult after another, and then, it's improv. So you then, while you're working at Starbucks, you start performing at Second City or taking classes at Second City?
Like, taking classes at Second City. I thought you had to take all these like weird classes. So I like started doing like improv for actors over the summer, which was like a week-long intensive. And then I got into the conservatory. Like, so I'm kind of like glad that I took those intensives, but I went to the conservatory at Second City. And at the same time I was going to IO, and which those of you don't know, it's Improv Olympic. And at the time, this is off of Clark Street. It was wild. IO, little improv history, moved to, I think it was the West Loop into a mega complex. Anyways, it's closed. It's closed now, filed for bankruptcy. Who knew that, you know, city of Chicago and surrounding area did not need a complex of 5 rooms, a 5-room improv mega complex. Yeah. Anyway, so I did that.
You know, they also got... You know, they got sued by the Olympics. Yeah. And they had to take Olympic out of their name. That's why they were IO. Yeah. Which is... No one thinks it's the Olympics, guys. Relax.
I mean, calm
no one.
down.
Not even Del Close. Not even the most deluded.
Did you take improv classes like at Second City and IO, or just Second City?
I did improv classes at Second City in Hollywood. Okay. And then I also simultaneously like wrote for a show at IO, but I never took classes there because it was all the same teachers. So I'm like, well, am I gonna take classes with this person again over there and pay for it again? No.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But different philosophies. I did pay for the IO book. That was a thing you had to do. But anyways, yeah, like I started taking improv classes, and then quickly started like really diving into the world of improv. And then at the same time I was going to open mics and trying to really start doing stand-up. And, you know, you're 21, you're 21, you're working it out. And then slowly, before I kind of really consciously understood what was happening, I was taking characters that were building on improv and I was doing them in stand-up. And like I got really into like riffing, and I got into like connecting with it, like as the years progressed, like riffing, doing character work on stage, and I stopped doing improv more and more until one day I was like, oh my God, even though I knew all the improvisers and like they were my friends and like we still sort of performed together and I still did bits with them, I found myself doing more and more stand-up, and then like improv-based stand-up. And then eventually I started teaching my own class at the Second City, which was really cool. And like,
wait, is that the class you teach now?
Yeah, the Get Riff class. So nice. I started teaching that independently, and then I was like, okay, cool. Like, how can I rather like teach this at Second City? And I pitched it to them, and they were very kind, and they said, sure, why not? You know, but I also like, I feel like this is something like it just happened. The Starbucks that I got transferred to was the Starbucks underneath Second City in Old Town.
Oh.
So
that's convenient.
That was convenient. It also like helped me like to meet and see performers and like go to shows for free. And then also like Tim Meadows would come in all the time, and he was so cool. And he would answer emails, like, he gave me his email address. I don't know why. I don't even know how I asked. I might have been like, hey, would you like to do a show? And he was like,
wait, maybe. So you guys are best friends now?
I haven't emailed him in years because there's something about young gumption and, like, that young drive. And almost like, you know, now that I'm in Hollywood, you know, like, it just, you know, like, there's this weirdness that comes with these things. I mean, maybe I should email him again, but I will say for the record, Tim Meadows was always so sweet and so kind to like me and the other baristas. Like,
I want you to email him and just be like, hey, I was just thinking of you. Your name popped up. I was just thinking about how nice you always were. Anyway, it's sad we're not best friends right now. So if you want to continue this friendship,
I have it. I still have it.
Yes. Okay, so email him tomorrow, please.
Hang on, let me see.
Oh boy.
I wonder if...
are you like looking back to see if you sent him something embarrassing?
That's what I'm doing right now. I really want to see, I really want to read this on air if I have this, Lisa, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Anytime I look back at old emails I sent people, I'm like, I'd actually not message people because, like, if I go to message them on Facebook, I'll see the last thing I wrote to them 3 years ago, and I'm like, oh, God, so embarrassing. I don't want them to look at it again. So I'm like, I'll just never talk to them again. That's all. That's my solution.
I don't have it. For some reason, maybe because it's so old, it's gone.
It's probably Tim Meadows at Gmail. Like, let's get real.
Oh, no, his email auto-populates, but the email correspondence that we have does not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe you printed it out and put it in a scrapbook?
Anyways. Yeah, I was going to put it in a scrapbook. But I honestly was like, what am I even asking Tim Meadows for at this moment? Like, hey, Tim, I'm running a show at the Hideout. Do you think you might want to do it? And he's like, it is 4:45 in the morning. I'm trying to get some coffee. You know. Great guy. Anyways, so yeah. I worked at Second City as a teacher. I performed stand-up in Chicago and improv, and I worked at that Starbucks.
Wait, and then at what point did you move to LA? When were you? Here's what I'm fascinated with is like people that are in smaller cities and they're doing their thing, and because there's so many people that get stuck in Chicago or Atlanta or Denver, and I don't mean stuck I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean like so often I'll go to these smaller cities for gigs, and you meet other comics that are like, yeah, you know, I'm actually moving to LA next year. Yeah. And they're all of them are like, I'm moving next year, and then you never see them again. And so like what I guess gave you the nerve to just pack up and move to LA? Like what made you think like it's time?
I had reached a point in my career, like I was doing a bunch of like JFL Chicago events and doing a bunch of callbacks. And there comes a point, I think, in everybody's career when they start in a town that's different than LA and New York. And I think Chicago is changing where there might be agencies and like production companies there. I don't know. I can't speak on the Chicago scene right now. But for me at that time, it was kind of like, oh, you've done all that you can do. You've reached a point where it's like, if you stay, you will just become one of these people that get stuck in a rut. And I was very lucky, and that, you know, at the same time, I would visit LA once a year, just at first for fun, and then doing like bringer shows at the Laugh Factory, thinking it was so cool when I was like 24. Yeah, and like my friend Lindsay and I would come out here and like stay, you know, at a friend of a friend's house and like do like the Yahoo or Yoo-Hoo room at Flappers, being like, oh my God. And they'd be like, you have to bring 15 people. And it's like, I'm coming in from Chicago. I'm 23, you know, like, sure. Pardon me. So I got to a point where I was really lucky, and I got signed with an agency, an LA agency, and I moved, and they were like, you should come out here. And I said, okay. So then I moved. And I was like seeing someone at the time. It's you know, you reach a point where you're just like, you're like shit or get off the pot. You know, like either blow up the house or knock the door down. I don't know what I'm trying to say with a brand. It feels like insensitive to keep making fun of the Branch Davidian incident.
You're like, there has to be another cult somewhere. Where can I join my next cult?
Where's the cult? So, it just reached a point where it was like, if I don't leave now, I'm going to be like one of these people that stays here, becomes like a legend of like, oh, they're really talented, but why didn't they leave? You know? And not that there's anything bad with that. Some people are rooted in their hometowns, and they're rooted where they want to live, and they're happy here. And they're talented, and they're able to make a living, but I was unable to.
You do hit a wall.
Yeah, creatively, it was like, oh, I hit a wall.
Yeah, and there's only so much you can do.
I agree. And but I will say to that, like, Chicago is one of the most, I'll always hold a special place with Chicago, because the city itself is so ingrained with comedy, and the people who live there, it's just a comedy city. And it allows you the freedom to explore yourself and your voice, and to really discover not only what makes you funny, but it allows you to explore your own sense of humor, and I didn't take that for granted, and I never will. Like think back, I'm like, damn,
I'm a little jealous of that.
It's a beautiful city. It's something like I feel like I'm getting a little emotional about my time in Chicago, but it was like it felt so creative, and it felt like exciting because you knew there wasn't this weird deadline, or there wasn't a producer coming to see you, or there wasn't like an agent that needed to see you, or you had to get this 5-minute tape because so-and-so got on the show. Like, why didn't I? Like, there wasn't that going on. What was going on was like, I am doing this because I love comedy, and I know it's going to turn into work and a job. And I still feel that way. But in LA and perhaps in New York and in other parts of the country, like, you know, as you said, like being a competitive person, even with yourself, you want to be the best. And I feel like LA really takes that creativity and it puts a different type of pressure on it. Not that it's bad or that it's good, but there is a pressure here that is like, okay, like, you have to take your life serious and your craft serious.
Yes.
You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
In all of your bouncing around and going from one cult to the next, and hopefully to another, I hope you find the right cult for you one day.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Was there ever something that happened along the way that felt either bad or insignificant at the time that turned out to change the trajectory of your life in a positive way?
I think for me, this moment for the general listener they might be like, how the fuck did that help your comedy career? But it was a point in which may or may not be good. But when I worked at the overnight shift at Starbucks, I saw a man get stabbed. And for those of you listening, this is the Starbucks off of North and Wells. It is a massive Starbucks. We made over $4 million a year in sales. The cafe was over like 2,000 square feet. It's a huge cafe. But you become a little desensitized to the tragedies of life. You also don't give up, like Starbucks, if you've never worked at Starbucks, there's so many corporate rules made by people who have never worked at a Starbucks. Like, that's the fucked up part about Starbucks. Like, it's always like, hey guys, this is your third written warning, so if you do it again, that's actually going to be like a big deal. Like, and it's like, we had unhoused individuals like that would live at our Starbucks. You know, like, and we got to know them on a personal basis. Even though, like, Starbucks corporate would be like, they have to leave. And it's just like, well, we know them. Like, we're not going to kick them out. Like, it would be like 3 chances and you're out. But also when it's -17, -32, you're not going to kick someone out.
Insane.
And, like, insane. So you start to know people. And also, like, anybody that's come, like, it gets 3 a.m. it gets weird in any city, anywhere where you're
at.
That's the witching hour.
Anything from like 3 to 5 a.m. is
6 a.m. Spooky. What the fuck? So at 9 p.m. this is the rush. We would get a 9 p.m. rush of like people going to Second City or leaving Second City or like going out to a bar. There'd be a rush at 9 p.m. and at 2 p.m. and then again at 4 a.m. like when the bars were switching over, or 2 a.m. when the bars were either closing in the area. Some bars would close at 2, some bars would close at 4. But at 9 p.m., this couple comes in, and they're arguing. And at this point in the game, I no longer took my job so serious. Like, I understood life in a way.
You've thrown out the black apron. You're back to the green apron.
Yeah. And we would just yell at them, like, shut up. Like, we would just yell. We'd just be like, hey, please be quiet. And it would be like yelling. Like, you know when your mom's yelling at you from the kitchen and you're in the living room and you're like, what? It was like that. That's how big the Starbucks was. So they're arguing all night. So it's 2:30 in the morning, and this couple had been arguing back and forth since like 9:30 at night. About ramblings. Who cares? I didn't care. I was just like, as long as nothing happens. 2:30 in the morning. They stand up. They start arguing. The woman stabs the dude.
What?
Stabs him. Stabs him.
With
like,
what? With
in
what?
the side. A knife, a shank, who cares? Who knows? Anyways, I'm 24. I don't know. I was a shift manager. I don't know. I'm from rural Texas. You think I have the...
You're not an EMT.
I'm not an EMT. So, dude is walking past
the bathroom. At this point, you pick up a gun, right?
I was like, oh my God, sir, I've called 911. And he was like, I don't need that shit in my life. Just give me a hot chocolate. So he goes into the bathroom. And we're like, okay, great. We get him a hot chocolate. But also, like, the Chicago PD, we had called him so many times.
Wait, did you charge him? Did he get whipped cream?
No. We did not charge. We were like, you just got stabbed, whatever you want. Like, here's 2 hot chocolates. So he goes to the bathroom. And, like, our bathrooms, the bathrooms at the Starbucks at Brooklyn Walls are disgusting. I found one time 18 used heroin needles under one sink. Like, the bathrooms are a brothel. So he goes to the bathroom, holds himself up. We put a hot chocolate out. Meanwhile, because I'm the shift leader and my coworkers are like, we're not going to clean up that fucking blood. You make more than us, which was like 50 cents. Go mop up the blood. And I was such a pushover. I was like, yeah, I'm going to mop up this blood. I mop up the blood just in the cafe from like the vestibule like across. He comes out. Hands are bloody. He's like wrapped toilet paper and stuffed it in the wound. Grabs hot chocolate. He and his girlfriend make out in front of the Starbucks. Like they rekindle. They leave.
Come on.
And it was like no big deal
to me.
That was
really fast. That's faster than it took my parents to make up.
It was insane. So then I just like went, cleaned up the bathroom, put this mop in this thing, and I was like, okay, cool. But that, I think, helped me, working at that Starbucks, which seemed like a drag, it seemed so stupid, but seeing crazy events like this helped me shape and understand the world in a way that I would never have understood if I just worked an office job, you know, or like, I think BuzzFeed when I moved to Chicago was like brand new, so like everyone was like, BuzzFeed Chicago, like I don't want to work there, or like The Onion, you know, like, it helped me create like an absurdist or a dry view and to find the humor in things that are really fucked up. Because that was so fucked up. Like, insane. And like, also like, we had a rapport with CPD, Chicago Police Department, because they would come in, they would want free coffee, and we would be like, hey, can you help us kick out this individual? And they'd be like, no, and we would just be like, awesome.
Yeah.
Fuck off. But also, like, we called them so many times that they just stopped. They would not, it was not a priority stop. And which, granted, there were a lot of things going on in Chicago that probably needed assistance. But, so we, like, I learned how to deal and de-escalate situations at that Starbucks. But it's helped me, like, shape my voice as a comedian and to, like,
now you know how to de-escalate an audience?
Exactly. Well, yeah, like I know how to communicate and connect with an audience in a way where, like, the world, I'm like, oh, when things are, like, really shitty, I learned how to laugh and, like, to take that pressure off. Because when you start seeing, like, you know, like, crazy shit, like, you know, we had this, like, chronic masturbator who would, like, sneak in and, like, masturbate on all of our comfy chairs.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if you've ever cleaned up.
No.
I had never seen a penis.
Absolutely not.
But I've definitely seen semen.
That's actually a nightmare.
Yeah.
I had a roommate for a while who, like, got off on us catching him masturbating, so he would, like...
What?
He would, like, masturbate out on the couch, or,
no, he didn't.
One time, I swear to God, one time I knocked on the bathroom door, and I was like, hello? Because the door was, like, slightly ajar, and there was no sound.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, and I was like, hello? And nobody answers me, right? And it was, like, the way it was set up was when you open the door, behind the door is the shower.
No.
So I opened the door, and once the door is all the way open and I'm in the bathroom, I just hear, oh, I'm in here. But it was like I'm mid-jerking it, you know? And I was like, I fucking I knocked. I said hello, you know? But, like, every person that lived in that house, because it was a big house, like, at one point or another, everyone walked in on him masturbating. And I'm like, you're not just, if you live with 3 people, you don't jerk it on the couch. Yeah, you just don't, because there's too many. There's a front door, there's a back door, there's a lot.
I don't understand that, and I also feel like that's like a little predatorial, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's creepy.
I'm glad you're out of that situation.
Whatever.
That's very fucked.
It would be funny if I told you this story and I wasn't out of the situation, and then he just like pops into frame here and he's like, that would be. Oh my god. Wait, so how did the stabbing then lead to some? Oh, you said it led to like you just being better with your material and stuff, which is a really nice way to think of that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would say the man being stabbed and, like, just crazy incidences of, like, working late night at a Starbucks. At the time, it was such a fucking drag, and I was like, oh, I'm embarrassed I worked at a Starbucks. But it helped me, like, in a kind of, like, Larry David sense of comedy, or, like, even in an absurdist way, like, understand and view life. Because we were working in these corporate confines from 9 p.m. until 6:37 in the morning, and we're seeing a lot of different types of like individuals that the majority of people don't see, or situations that they're not in, and it's like corporate rule did not apply to this, but we somehow had to maintain a corporate rule in this like underbelly of society. And it just was so, it helped me become silly and absurd and, like, see life from an outsider's perspective. And it really helped just, you know, like, all right, that's a man's penis, you know? Hey, just get out of here. Can you go to the bathroom? Or we would just be, like, out. Like, he would walk in, and he literally, it was like a cartoon. He had a trench coat, and it was just, like, out. You know, like, it was like the Wild West of, like, a comedy thing, but it helped me become, like, a strong performer in a sense of, like, oh, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, you know, like, because you have to kind of develop this skin, but also you're seeing, like, moments of people being stabbed or, like, as a chronic masturbator in a comfy chair.
That's been so much of my experience with day jobs is, like, just chaos, and I don't even understand. I can't wrap my mind around what somebody does in an office. I'm like, what do you, like, I just imagine somebody opening a file cabinet and just shuffling through files and then just, like, clicking on things and not typing anything, like a cartoon. I couldn't write an office scene into a movie. I would have to do research because I'm like, I have no idea.
I have no idea. I worked as, like, a writer's researcher once. And in the office of Wilshire that houses, like, in the E offices. And I was just like, how does the printer work? How does the printer work? And they're like, what? And I was like, the printer. How does the printer work? And they're like, huh? And I was like, it's a cubicle. There's a cubicle. The first time I was in a cubicle, I thought about that masturbator, and I was like, I get it. You know? This is mine.
When I was a PA for a while, I was a post-production PA at this post house in New York.
Okay, here we go.
Called East Coast Digital, and my boss, when I first started there, she's like, hey, like, she sets me up with Google Sheets. This is my first time ever seeing Google Sheets, and she wants me to, like, put some stuff in.
Google Sheets the first time? Yes.
I started sobbing at my desk. And by the way, I'm the front person. So I'm the first person people see, and I'm just like, I can't figure this out. And just like, I was so frustrated. And now I, like, live in Google Sheets, but it was so difficult for me.
You think I understood Google Docs? I barely understood Microsoft Word. Now you want me to share my, like, mismatched formatting with the team? No! I don't know how to make this a column, Jill.
Yeah,
how the fuck do I insert a header? You know? No, I'm riled up. But yes, I definitely sobbed. When I moved to LA, that's when I got a Gmail account. Before then, it was all Yahoo. It was definitely a Yahoo account. And then I was like, I see all the big boys and girls got a Gmail.
I got a Gmail account like a year ago.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. I have like 9 email addresses because I've gone through every single one of them.
Oh, nice. You know what I'm thinking about doing? I'm thinking about telling people, you know how everybody's got like, it would be like lisa@me.com, like the fancy email or whatever. I'm just going to start using my website email. I'm like, fuck you, it's evermainard@evermainard.com.
Yes.
I'm a spooky do narcissist.
Absolutely. Do it. So Ever, if your childhood self, like your 11-year-old Ever, could see you now, what do you think she would think of you?
I think pretty proud, all things considering. Gone through some shit, lived through some shit. I have my own kind of like little 1-bedroom casita that used to be like the place that I just moved into into a little home that was built by suffragists in the 1930s.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. And I got it by, like, happenstance. Like, a friend was moving out and was like, do you want to take this over? And I was like, I would love that. It's the first time since I was 21 that I've lived on my own. And I'm pretty proud of that.
Oh, wow.
And I'm proud of, like, how I've stayed true to myself in my career. And, like, I've really come to develop and understand my own voice. And really, like, who I am. Kind of like when we're saying, like, when I was talking about, like, how Starbucks is this like corporate kind of coffee shop, but like having to work in the confines of a shift that doesn't make sense for corporate life or a corporate Starbucks. Like I kind of feel like that's the same with my performance, whereas like stand up in a bubble, like a stand up is a setup and a punchline, but the way I perform in my comedy is my own way. Like, and it's something that I'm proud of. Like it's unconventional. It's rowdy. It's fun. It's pure joy. So yeah, I would say that I'm pretty proud.
I love your stand-up so much. I think like after...
Oh, likewise.
Oh, thank you. I think after the first time I saw you live, I was like, oh, I must be friends with her. Like, that's it. Like, we're gonna... Like, if I hadn't talked to you after the show, I would have been in your DMs like, let's be friends.
Oh, same.
For sure.
100%
that would have been
the same. I'd be like, oh, we're over. I wouldn't be like, let's be friends. I'd be like, we are friends now. You and I, we are friends.
And then you just never hear from me again?
I'm like, Lisa and I are friends. And everyone is like, you and Lisa are not friends. No, we are friends. That's her. I feel like I'm like Will Ferrell and Anchorman right now.
Yeah. Like, one of the highlights of my year last year, honestly, was running into you in Berlin.
Same. I think about that like, once
you were
a
there
week.
Teaching classes.
Yeah, I think about that once a week. I'm like, that was one of the most fun weeks of my entire life. It was so cool. It was so fun.
That was so fun.
It was such a different experience, and it honestly just felt like, oh, this is what life could be. This is what life should be. But no, I think about that too. I was like, damn.
To give it context for anyone listening, when we ran into each other in Berlin, so Ever's there teaching her Get Ripped class at, what was the theater?
I think it's again? Like Comedy Cafe in Berlin.
Ah, yes, Comedy Cafe, which is kind of a deceptive name because it's a comedy theater.
Yeah.
It's not just like a little, and they have great food, by the way.
Really cool.
And a nice, proper green room.
Proper green room.
Yeah.
And
the nice
people who run it,
yes.
Very funny individuals as well. I was like, oh, I don't know how Berlin comedy is going to be. Will they understand me? It's like, oh, it's an English-speaking country as well. Like, I don't know. It was cool. I don't know.
Yeah. Everyone overseas speaks English, always. But you and I were both there. I was there, I think, only for a few days. Todd Barry was also there, and he had like a headlining week at Comedy Cafe. And then also one of my... we and I had mentioned this earlier, but one of my childhood friends, Dave Davison, was there with his band, Maps and Atlas. There's guys, look them up, they're incredible. And they were playing shows, so there was... Very
sweet people.
There was
very
a night...
Band.
Yeah, there was a night where I got to open for Todd at Comedy Cafe, and you had a gig somewhere else, and then Dave had a show, and then we all met at Dave's show. We barely missed Dave's show, but then we all hung out there and like...
But it was fun, we all hung out.
It was the best time, and like Todd and the band like hit it off because Todd's a big music guy, and so it was just like, I like when things come together like that, it's the best feeling ever.
It was a really magical moment. I will say, okay, I thought Todd Barry would know that this was a joke. We were all hanging out. We hung out for a few days in a row. But I said, hey, Todd, do you have any advice? He was like, what? For, like, comedy advice. And I have never been looked at with such disgust. And I was like, he knows this is a bit. He didn't think it was a bit, and he stopped. I knew I shouldn't have made that joke or asked that question. I was like, he's not going to get this as a joke. He did not respect me after that. He would not look at. I have never seen somebody's lips snarl in disgust. And Todd Barry, if you're listening, I am haunted by our interaction.
Todd is so funny, and I feel like I can never ever read him. My friend Gianmarco, I don't know if you know Gianmarco. I'm going to say his last name wrong. Sorcy. He's a hysterical comic from New York, and Todd started following him on Twitter, and so Gianmarco posted about it, and he was like, oh my gosh, Todd Barry is following me on Twitter, and then Todd immediately unfollowed him, like, for posting this. Which I thought was, like, the funniest and most Todd Barry thing.
Oh, 100%. No, I'm out of here. Now this is enough. You ruined it.
Yeah, fuck this. This is gross.
I'm out of here.
Oh man, that's so funny. So if you had to guess, where do you think your life and your career are going to go from here? I mean, like, what cult are you going to join next?
Well, I am at that age where white people. I'm at that age where white people become Buddhist. I'm in my mid-30s. That's not a joke. I do subscribe to Buddhist philosophy. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. But you know, honestly, like, I feel kind of like a resurgence of creativity, and I'm just excited to see what happens. Like, production is starting again, which feels weird and sounds weird. But I think after this moment of pause, you know, and like work and reflection, like the only way to go, it kind of feels like you're at that, in an odd way, it kind of feels like this moment in time feels like what Chicago felt like. It's like, okay, you've reached a point, so you're either going to have to go up and push yourself to succeed. Yeah. Or find that drive to move forward. Yeah. Or you're just going to stay here and be like, well, this is how it used to be. Like, this is a new life. And it feels weird to say that. Yeah. It feels cliched. But, you know, again, with Buddhism, like, you have to stop. Pain comes with resistance. And then, like, you have to accept what is being dealt. Yeah. And this is where we're at. And I feel excited for the future. And it is about, like, embracing a digital platform of communication and performance. And until it comes back to...
And Google Sheets.
And Google Hangs. Step it up, Google Hangs, while we're using Zoom. But no, I think that it's just going to go up from here. And I'm excited.
I love
for whatever that means. I'm excited.
I think so, too. I really hope that we get a chance to work together someday.
Oh my God,
I think it's going to be, I mean, like, if we were staffed on a project together, that would be the most fun.
It would be wild. I would agree. It would be Berlin times 10.
And then we hire Todd Barry.
And Todd Barry's like, what? Todd Barry's immediately disgusted. He sees me, and I'm like, no!
If he ever heard this, he would be like, fuck both of them.
Yeah. I'm so sorry to drag you into this, Lisa.
Sorry.
Todd Barry hates you by proxy.
That's so funny. Well, I hope the next cult you're in is good.
Thank you.
So I kind of am leaning towards Scientology for you, but, you know, make your own decision.
That will not be for me. I will say that will not be for me.
Too dark.
Too dark.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was so great to talk to you.
It was so great to talk to you too. I was gonna say make all the Branch Davidian jokes you want, but leave Scientology out of it. Too much. Yeah. Yes. No, this was really fun. It was really refreshing to like hang out with you again, talk to you.
Yeah, you too. Maybe we'll hang out in real life sometime soon. Once again, that was Ever Mainard, who you can find on Twitter and Instagram at Ever Mainard. And I'm Lisa Curry. I'm on Twitter at Lisa_Curry and on Instagram at olympianlisacurry. Thank you so much for listening.